Hey guys! We're back. We're back to the silly little drawing stream. Yeah, okay. I just like got in here being like, what do I say as an intro? And I got nothing for an intro because like, I mean, I'm drawing. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm doodling, guys. But first, I want to show you guys something. We will get back to the drawing that we were working on. We were working on. Yeah, sure, that we were working on last stream, but I'm also working on another one, something a lot more simpler. But actually, first, I really need to see how... Okay, bear with the infinite void for a hot second. Oh, before anything, hey, this is my little doodle I'm working on. I mentioned this in the last stream, but I'm working on a... Oh, Charles says sub. Hey, hi. Okay, it does look good. Okay, I was wondering if it looked good. Okay, sorry. I just wanted to see, like, if the... I'm trying to, like, fix the screen thingy again, and, Charles says, oh, damn, we're an artist. Yeah, everyone's an artist now. Everyone. Cora says hello. Hi. Yeah, so, as I mentioned, last stream, I was drawing... We're all drawing. The silly little scene with, like, a young Odysseus, and then I'm sure everyone's gonna be like, is that Telemachus? And it's like, no. He looks like Telemachus, I guess, because he's his dad. Telemachus is his son. Like, you know what I mean. And then with Athena, because Athena's, like, his teacher, and he's, like, trying to be all goofy and silly, and Athena's all, like, serious, because that was, like, their dynamic when he was young, and it's adorable and sweet. Anyway, we'll go back, we'll go back to the art. I just wanted to show you this, because I thought it was cute. Okay, let's... Wrong one. Whoops. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Okay, so I was doing his clothes. That pronunciation is wild. What, like the Greek names? Let me just... Okay. I think... No, but it's like... I'm trying to think of like how... Should I put an extra fold? Or would that look weird? I'll keep this for... actually, no. I think that does look weird. Actually, I don't think I should put an extra fold. I think that looks odd. Okay, so we're almost done with, like, at least, like, his own sketch. Mind the boldness. And actually, he should have some... Should he have the eye bags? He's having, like, a cool moment right now. Actually, I'll not do the eye bags for now. Yeah, I'll not do the eye bags. I had this, funny idea for another drawing thing that came to my mind. Like, back with the Genshin thing, I was thinking that, Charles says, I always thought it was Telemachus. Like, Telemachus? I mean, I don't know, that's how they pronounce it in the musical. I don't know how it's actually supposed to be pronounced in Greek. But, because, you know, they're all Anglified. Like, one of my favorite parts of Epic is in the song Odysseus. They say, what is it, Odiseo, as like a chorus. And maybe it's in Spanish, I don't know, because Jorge's Puerto Rican, so maybe it's just in Spanish. But my little brain is like, oh, what if that's his name in Greek as well, since, you know, like, Spanish comes from Latin and Latin comes from Greek. I don't know. Okay, I think clothing-wise, he's fine. He looks alright. You know what? I need to give him... Charles says valid. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it. I remember, oh man, I saw Overly Sarcastic Productions video on the Odyssey. I can only imagine that this creator, like, made that video, like 9 years ago. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, like, it's just a whole bunch of people start flocking onto this decade-old video that you made. because a certain Puerto Rican man thought it would be funny as his college thesis. And then everyone's like, oh my god, like, Odyssey stuff. And I just think that's really funny. Anyway, so I watched it, and the person in the video kept pronouncing his name as Telemachus. And that just, like, frustrated me. I'm like, it's Telemachus. It's telemarketing. It's telenovela, okay? I say to a nearly decade-old video, Charles says OSP is hype. They're really fun. Okay. I need to lock in again. Oh, you know what? Maybe some scars. I had some, like, scars on this, like, not fully realized, because this design is just me ripping off the designs of other people because I'm lazy. Okay, I had a scar, like, on his arm, and maybe, like, a scar here, and does he have one on his face? I don't think he does. He has, like, scuffs on his face. Because he just, like, I don't know. You're out at sea, and you probably haven't showered in a very long time. It's rough out here. Okay, and for the tunic. Okay, and did I have any for his legs? Oh my god, I forgot the straps that go up his legs. I literally forgot about that. We're gonna fix that. Yeah. Oh, Charles says that's where I got the pronunciation I use. I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense if that's, like, the first time you heard his name. But, like, I think Epic was the first time I heard Telemachus's name. I think. And if it wasn't, then it's the first one I remember. Cora says, Greek god lore being displayed as telenovela would be hype, not gonna lie. Honestly? Dude, it's like, it is so perfect for a telenovela, honestly. It's so perfect. Okay, I just need to look at, okay, it was like mid-shin. It's like mid-shin. Just trying to, like, remember how I drew this guy before. So Strap starts mid-shin. Also, okay, can I say something about Greek sandals? Can I just... Okay, let me rant about Greek sandals for a little bit. So the first time I drew Odie, I drew him, like, full body, right? For a piece of art with him and Polites. And, oh my god, so, basically every animatic artist under the sun just avoided drawing, like, the actual sandals. They would just draw, like, some crisscross lines to, like, indicate a sandal, but they would never draw, like, the sandal in and of itself. And any other, like, full-blown illustration I could find, was... Oh, DJBX50 says, "Hey, Peppermint, long time no see. Hi, welcome to the stream." Yeah, I'm doing a drawing stream again. It's been forever. I'm low-key ranting about sandals. So the other few times I would see people draw the sandals, maybe it's just my personal preference, I don't know, but like I was like, let me find some nicer looking sandals. So I'm looking up like Greek sandals, like ancient Greek sandals, to see like what they wore. And guys, it is some of the most stupidly complicated, like unnecessarily complicated footwear I have ever seen in my life. Like, how hard is it to just, like, how hard is it to just plop in a couple straps to keep the leather on your feet? You don't need, like, a bajillion leather straps crisscrossing each other in a way that literally doesn't make any sense. And it kind of bothered me until I eventually found, like, one image that was like simple enough that I could draw, but it also just didn't look stupid. Like, I know they're laces, but like, it's like they were even extra on their footwear. No, literally, like, I get that they're laces. They're less of, like, leather straps and more like laces. I get that. But at the same time, I'm like, do you really need that many laces? Do you really, really need that many? Like, I understand you want it to be, like, secure, but, like, I'm sure there are other methods, guys. Come on. Alright, and then, okay, so you don't get to his, like, foot there. I'll just put the lace thingies here. Yeah, it's fine enough. Okay. And then for the one here, it's mid-shin. I put it mid-shin. But yeah, it didn't make any... Well, it makes a little bit of sense. Their footwear is dumb, is what I'm trying to say here. And then all of the people who are super into, like, Greek fashion are like, how dare you say that? It's like, look, we can be fond of a fashion. Cora says, it's for the aesthetics. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense. It's like, look, we can all appreciate a fashion and still be like, it looks dumb. we can still do that, guys. Did I put one on the back? No, I didn't. Okay. It's gonna be like a hint of it here. Barely even gonna see it thanks to the pole, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And yes, I know Jorge designed like little shorts that go like under the legs. Yeah, I know that. Look, he is wearing the shorts. You just don't see them. You just don't see the shorts. So, yeah. Okay, I think... like, do I redo the cloak? I mean, again, you're not gonna see most of it. I'm just gonna, like, cut it off. Yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it off, like, here instead. What the? Another layer? Oh, what was this layer for? Is that for the hair? Oh, I think that was for the hair. Oh, whoops. I made a whole new layer for the hair and I forgot. I'm just gonna combine them then. Okay. You need another scar. And some on the cloak as well. Alright, alright. I'm gonna do his hair then. I'm gonna do the hair. Which I'm just going to copy off of... I mentioned this a few times in the previous stream, but this general Odie design I'm basing it off of is from, like, one of the popular animatic artists, Gigi. Like, I think most of the fandom, like, when they think of an Odysseus design, they think Gigi, and I'm like, perfect. You know, it's the standard whitish boy with longish brown hair. Peak character design. Peak character design. Although I do think it's really funny how, wait a second. No, that's too big. Hold on. Let me fix that. I do think it's really funny how basically everybody, and I'm guilty of this too, but basically everybody, like, keeps drawing Odysseus as if he's, like, in his 20s-ish. Yeah, like, in his 20s-ish, where, like, logically, for most of the story, he's, like, 30-somethings. And then by the end of the story, like, man's probably pushing 50, like, by the end of the story. But I think it's really funny. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. But it makes for really interesting interpretations when people start drawing scenes from the last few songs, where some people just kind of keep Odie looking vaguely young, and then other people make him look like he's like 70. And yeah, I think the one artist I have seen who, like, drew an Odie, like a Would You Fall in Love with Me Again Odysseus that, like, kind of sort of looks like, yeah, I can believe that, is, I mean, it was in one of the canon animatics. Boy, I forgot which one it was. Like, he doesn't look that old, but he has, like, the gray hairs, and I forgot the name of the artist, darn. And then that was replaced by Gigi's animatic, or at least I'm pretty sure that's Gigi's, by, like, the very, very end where he looks 20 again. And the funny part is that that was a commission by Jorge, so, like, canonically Odie still looks young even when he's, like, 50. There's a stray hair thingy going like that. Okay. Then I think I'm gonna have to think of the general shape for the hair. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think of the general shape. Okay. I'm gonna start it from here. I want it to look, like, all cool and flowy because he's having his big moment. Maybe the hair could go like that. That looks good. That looks good. Ooh, that actually looks really good. Okay, okay, I'm into that. I'm into that. I'm into that. Okay, this one still needs some work though. No, no, no. Sorry for the silence. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. My brain is running. Huh. Like, what exact, like, shape I want it to follow. Why is this hard? Maybe it's like... Okay, how about... I should do this little piece first. Okay, not bad. That looks good. That looks fine. Could be this little horn thingy. I don't know. Huh. I'm gonna redo the top part. Okay, I think I have something going on with this little like bang thingy, like in a good way. You know, Christopher Nolan, the Batman / Oppenheimer guy, which when I say that out loud, that's funny. It's like, hey, the guy who did the Batman movies and the Oppenheimer movie. So he's promoting his new Odyssey movie. And wait, actually, let me look up when that was announced very quickly. Hold on for a second. Because I may be tripping. Or I may just be crazy. In December? Oh my god! Okay. I mentioned this because, like, when I first heard of the Christopher Nolan Odyssey movie, it was, like, shortly after the Ithaca saga released, which to me, I didn't, like, I didn't actually sat down and listen to Epic until after the Ithaca saga released, because, like, the story was finally over, and so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll look at it now. And at least to me, like, it was announced shortly after. Okay, so apparently it was announced on December 23rd, which is funny because the Ithaca saga released on Christmas of 2024. So like basically right before like Epic concluded, like right before that. And like my very first thought that went to my mind was, did Christopher Nolan see what was going on and went, I can do that too. Look, I'm not saying that Epic is the reason Christopher Nolan made the Odyssey. But what I am saying is that it probably made the internet interested in the Odyssey again. That's what I am saying. And then it kind of got weird because then a lot of people started fighting about whether or not, like, whether or not you're, like, privileged to know what the story is, and it got weird. Because I guess, like, people were saying, like, only privileged people who went to, like, super fancy schools read the Odyssey at school or something weird like that. Because I guess, like, there was this one guy who was making fun of... Or, yeah, I think, like, not knowing what the Odyssey was. And then some other people were like, how do you not know what this is? And he's like, I don't know. Screw you guys for being, like, privileged white people who go to good schools, I guess. And it was, like, a whole mess that occurred, and I'm sitting here like, yo, what? Cora says, it's like 3 Pinocchios or 2 ant-related movies coming out at the same time. You know what? The Pinocchio one is a really good example. Like, I truly think that the Russian one, the gay Pinocchio movie, I truly think that it only existed because Disney was making their, like, really crappy reboot. Because, like, you know, some people thought that the Guillermo del Toro one was also made as a response to Disney, but considering that he's been working on that movie for, like, literal decades, like, no, I just think it was a funny coincidence. Okay, what if... I'm, like, really struggling with what I'm trying to do here. What am I trying to do? I don't know. But the Pinocchio live-action movie, the Disney one, atrocious, terrible. I hated it. Like, and it's really sad because I actually grew up with Pinocchio. Like, the original 1940s movie, and so it has a little place in my heart. So as you can imagine, I was a little bit heartbroken to see that their remake was dog shit. Charles says Jacob Geller has a great video on Pinocchio stuff. Maybe I should check it out. I remember for a hot second I like looked up a little bit the original Pinocchio story. Very different from the Disney one, although I should not be surprised. Pinocchio was very much an asshole in that original story. Which, I mean, is consistent. I mean, kids have no filter. So, like, if anything, it kind of makes sense. Like, imagine you're like born with the mind of like a 10-year-old, right? But you have no conscience, right? It's kind of like the whole point of the Pinocchio story. It makes sense that a 10-year-old who has never been told like any rules would just kind of be like a terrible person. It's alright. It's alright. I'll keep it for now. I might change it a little later. But yeah. Then I saw that Tom Holland was going to be casted as Odysseus, and my very first thought went, okay, Tom Holland's a good actor, but like, I would never have imagined him as Odie. Like, I would have never imagined him as Odie at all. Cora says, makes sense. He kind of had to be a bit bad for the consequences of his actions to make sense. Yeah. Which is actually, like, the biggest problem of that live-action remake. It's the biggest problem because, like, Pinocchio is too perfect of a child. And, like, I don't mind children being, like, cute little sunshines, but it defeats the entire point of the film. Like, the entire point of the story is that, like, Pinocchio, like, I don't know, he kind of doesn't know what he's doing, in a sense. Like, people tell him, don't do this is bad, but he doesn't understand why, and so he proceeds to do it. And then his friend turns into a donkey. They make jackasses of themselves. Like, the fact that his friend turns into a donkey is kind of part of the messaging. And the fact that they're smoking and drinking kind of, you know, is the whole point. Like, kids aren't supposed to smoke and drink, which is why in the original movie they smoke and drink. But because in the live action movie, we can't have smoking and drinking in a kids movie, it's now replaced with, like, lollipops and root beer. Which, like, I understand for, like, censorship, you know, because it is a kids movie, and kids movies nowadays don't have that kind of stuff. But it also, like, severely defeats the point. Like, I understand that you don't want to have smoking in your children's movie. But that's the point. The entire point is that smoking is bad. It really is one of those stories that, like, yes, it's a kid's story, but you also need to remember, like, what they're trying to do with it. Okay. I think I got something here. Does this mean I can finally get to line art? Probably. Okay, let me just... Actually, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I'm just dumb here. Hold on. There's a method to the madness, I promise you. Oh my god, I forgot his beard. I forgot his beard. Forgot Odysseus' beard. How could I forget? This is where the hair is. Yes. You'll see it when it's finished, I promise. Actually, let me just do this. There we go. There we go. Okay. Actually, yeah, no, I'll do the background a little later. Flatten it, and then lower the entire opacity. Okay, okay, okay. Line art time. Yay! We got to line art time. My favorite process in the entire drawing process. Well, not really. Kind of. I don't know. I don't hate line art as much as other artists do. There's some artists that will do anything they can to avoid line art as much as possible. I kind of find line art is very, like, chill. But it can get really tedious at times. Actually, no, it's, like, entirely tedious. Okay. Chorus says, for real, line art can be a drag at times. Oh no, it definitely can. There's some moments where I'm like, what if I just clean up a sketch? What if I just do that? Because there's been times where I just think that, because, like, my sketches tend to be pretty clean anyway. But then the, like, perfectionist side of me is like, no, finish it. Because I'm stubborn like that. Unfortunately, I'm very, very stubborn, and once I like start something, I'm like, I have to finish it. I have to finish it even if it looks bad. I can't just upload a sketch, which I really need to start doing. I had a silly, funny idea, for, like, would it be, no, not an AU, like a dumb little thing that I, like, conceptualized. This is me, like, slowly getting back into the Genshin thing, where I'm like, you know what would be really funny if I would, like, do a couple doodles with, Xbalanque and Ochkan and, the Dragon Sage. And it's just kind of them interacting. It's just kind of them being funny. Like y'all know the meme of that meme of, like, one person in a Halloween costume, and then the person right next to them has their, like, face in shadow and they're looking, like, super intensely, and the caption is something like, "Why is this guy so mad?" Some silly like that. Like, I'm like, yeah, that'd be Ochkan right there. He's just seething with rage. Like, Xbalanque goes up to the Dragon Sage and says, like, "Hey, I found your son." And the Dragon Sage is like, "Oh, did you treat him well?" And Xbalanque is like, yeah, I did. I brought him over here." And then Ochkan's just like, the whole time. It's just like, is he okay? Yeah, no, he's doing fine. Whoops. I had another silly idea. With Nivelette visiting Natlan for the first time. Cause, as Nivelette mentions himself, despite Natlan being the nation of dragons, he doesn't, like, he doesn't want to go there because he says something about how he might feel, like, unwelcomed because the dragons there are, like, vastly different than, like, him or something. And I think it would be super funny, like, hey, what if he goes to Natlan with, like, Farina, and Rebellious Party says, "Oh, hi, welcome to the stream." We're just chilling, as the title says. And I'm rambling. But, I don't know, like, Nivelette visits Natlin for the first time. He has, like, Farina with him or something. And he's like, it's been thousands upon thousands of years since I have last seen, like, a big population of my kind. He sees that they're marketable plushies. He's just kind of like, oh. Farina's like, oh my god, they're so cute! Farina's like, they're adorable! And she's, like, playing with the Kaholasaurs or something. And she's like, I don't know, you know, like, treating them like a puppy. And Nivelette is like, Lady Farina, please, Lady Farina, these are not pets. These are sentient creatures. These are sentient creatures. And then one of the baby saurians are like, roar, and he's like, roar. And he's just kind of like really disappointed the entire time. Like, Farina is having fun. She's having the time of her life. Nivelette's just like, yeah. Okay. Maybe I should get it bigger. I don't want the line to be too big either. I've gotten really accustomed to drawing with fairly thick outlines. And I don't know, I kind of want to try doing thinner ones. I feel like I have less control with that, though. Chorus says, quote, "What has become of my kind?" Dang, oof, that's rough, buddy. He decides to visit, like, an actual, like, dragon, like, ancient. He goes to Sumeru, and he meets up with a Pep. He's like, ah, hello, a dragon sovereign to a dragon sovereign. How you been? And a Pep is like, what sort of lowly form have you taken? And Nivelette's like, whatever do you mean? And a Pep's like, what is this disgusting human form you have on? And Nivelette's like, oh, yeah, no, I was, I was born this way, so, yeah. And then a Pep is like, born this way, nah, you did that on purpose, shapeshift right back into your real form. And Nivelette's like, well, see, that's the thing, this is my real form. I don't think I can change it. I don't think so. And then a Pep is like, what a disgrace. The dragon species have become an utter disgrace. And now we have dragons turning into humans. We have dragons mating with humans, and dragons turning into humans, and dragons taking the place of gods. And Nivelette's like, okay, I'll go to Mondstadt instead. I'm gonna talk to Dvalin now. I'm gonna go talk to Dvalin instead. He might be a little nicer. Because a Pep, like, her whole character can basically be boiled down to, I hate everything. Okay. Like, Nivelette visits Ajdaha and Liyue, and he's like, ooh, what about you? Like, I heard that this dragon has had, like, a history of good relations with humans. Let me talk to this guy. And Ajdaha is like, I am going to pummel every single human being that ever steps into my territory. Which I did. And because of that, Rex Lapis has imprisoned me underground forever. And Nivelette's like, I thought that you had good relations with humans. And he's like, like, them humans just lie to me. They say that they're my friends, and then they start mining my ley lines. And Nivelette's like, wow, I am so sorry for that. Yeah, so then I decided to kill all of the miners. Like the people who mine. And Nivelette's like, okay, you didn't have to go that far. Okay, I'm starting to see why that god locked you up now. He goes to Inazuma, finds out there is no dragon. He's like, where's the Electro Dragon? I don't know. And then he finally makes it to Mondstadt. And Dvalin is like really sad because he wants to be friends with humans, but none of the people like him. And Nivelette's like, it's okay, dude, you just kind of have to wait a couple centuries. And Dvalin's like, a couple centuries? I've been waiting for damn near 1,000 years for people to like me. And Nivelette's like, oh, just keep waiting, people will come around. I see, the funny thing is that most Fontanians don't even know that Nivelette is a dragon. Like, they know he's not human, but they don't know he is a dragon. So, like, you know, actually that would be really funny. Like, Dvalin's like, tell me, how did you get people to like you? And Nivelette's like, oh, well, very simple. I am a very, impartial and fair judge in the court. And I also took the place of the Hydro Archon, basically. And Dvalin's like, no, okay, yeah, but, like, there has to be something else. There has to be more than just, taking a place, like running a country, I guess. There has to be something more. And Nivelette's like, I mean, granted the people don't know that I'm a dragon. And Dvalin's like, oh, okay, I see. And Nivelette's like, hey, but maybe you could do something similar. Dvalin's like, dude, look at me. Like, I am the most stereotypical dragon in, like, all of Teyvat. And Nivelette's like, that's right. Like, every time he visits dragons, it's just, like, not what he is expecting. Or not what he hoped it would be. He'd go on, like, a little, like, pilgrimage to find all of the dragons that are still out there, and every single time he meets one of them, he's just severely disappointed. Cora says, Inazuma has no dragon? Shaking my head. Not to my knowledge. Like, the closest one, although I don't think he counts. No, I don't think he counts. The closest one is Urabashi, but Urabashi is specifically stated to be a god. And he takes the form of a snake. And I mean, sure, like, the Saurians and Natlan take the form of, well, not the form, but, like, you know, they look similar to other animals. Nivelette's a straight up human. Like, Apep, well, not Apep, her, like, the inside, the creature thingy inside of her that you fight kind of looks like one of those, like, sea worms. But, so, like, if you squint, you could say that a snake could be a dragon. Oh my god, Scylla? How could I forget Scylla? A dragon in Remuria straight up looks like a whale. He just straight up looks like a whale. So, like, I mean, I guess if you squint, you could say that a snake looks like a dragon, like, can be considered a dragon into that. But the thing is that Urabashi is specifically stated to be a god, and yeah. Neo Sonic Fan 100 says, I'm back. Hey, hello. And so that's like, yeah. I also give my thanks to Epic for helping me pronounce Scylla's name. Because, yeah, I first heard of it from... Heard of it? Yeah. I first read the name in the famous Remuria quest that I keep mentioning, like, in every other stream. Yeah, because one of Remus's friends, like, King Remus, the god of that time period, one of his friends is a dragon prince named Scylla. But, see, because the quest is unvoiced, I had no idea how to pronounce it. And, like, I don't know, I see the S, I see the C, how? And so, for the longest time, it was Scylla. For the longest time, I pronounced it as Scylla, because I genuinely didn't know. So I give Epic my thanks for learning how to pronounce that name. And I do think it's really funny that, I do think it's really funny that they named a dragon that straight up looks like a whale after a monstrous Hydra lady. It's like, guys, I think I have a perfect idea. Oh my god. Guys, I have a perfect idea for what we're going to name this dragon prince. Oh yeah, what's your idea? Scylla. You mean the Hydra lady from the Odyssey? The Hydra lady from the Odyssey. But Scylla, but like, our dragon prince is male, and a dragon that looks like a whale. And then the other guy is like, oh come on, this is Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse has never cared for gendered names, and they're like, you know what, you're right. Chorus says Skrilla. Skrilla.
Although technically Scylla is Greek and not Roman, but like, yeah, shut up.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Although I do think it's kind of funny that like Remuria is so obviously based off Rome. I mean, duh. Remuria is obviously based off Rome, but Enkanomiya, which is the ancient civilization that is under Inazuma, is based off of ancient Greece. Like, all of the names are Greek, and yeah. But I do think it's really funny that, because like, at least with like Remuria being Roman makes sense because it's modern day Fontaine, you know, it's modern day France, so there's like Rome, and then in the modern day is France. It makes sense. And then there is like Enkanomiya, which, okay, Enkanomiya is not old-timey Inazuma. It's a completely separate civilization that just happens to be really close to Inazuma. But I guess like that's kind of like where my mentality is. It's like, you're really close to the region inspired by Japan, and the current people of that civilization live in one of these islands, which is still inspired by Japan. But your actual civilization is Greek. Neosonic fan says, I don't like Genshin Impact. Well, I do. So I talk about it. Like, every few minutes, I'm like, I need to lock in and do this, do the line art of this. And then other times I'm like, but I don't want to be, I don't want to be, like, dead silent. The struggle, the pain. Too big. Okay, I'll go with that. Mouth.
in the middle? No, it wasn't. That's not even centered. Okay, I'm gonna move this mouth a little up. Okay. Alright. Oh, I forgot the rest of the hair. No. Face. The face is done. Look at that. Ooh. Look at that nice smooth line art. And then the rest of it. Okay, now I did the hair. There it is. Is it a bit fluffy? Maybe, but we're gonna go with that for now, or else I'm going to spend a literal eternity trying to like fiddle around with it, and I don't feel like doing that. So we're just gonna like continue.
Continue on with the rest of it. That's... Oh, okay. Alright. Sorry if I'm just, like, dead silent. I may have probably just maybe, exhausted my talking points. How is my
epic musical coming? Musical? What am I talking about? My epic musical, whoa. How is my, review, question mark? I don't know what to call it, actually. I don't know what I would call it. I was thinking that it was, like, kind of similar, I guess, to my Lorax video. Although, not really. The Lorax video was more of an examination of all of the cut content, while this one is more of a, like, dissection? I don't know. It's not a review, not necessarily. Well, I mean, I guess it is. I wouldn't consider it a review, but mostly because I don't consider myself a reviewer. I'm one of those people who are like, I love dissecting and analyzing media. Like, I love getting, like, deep in the weeds of all of, like, little character details and arcs and story plots and stuff like that. I love getting deep into that. But I'm not a critic. I am very much not a good critic, if that makes any sense. Like, I love to analyze things, but I really struggle to, like, criticize it. Like, for example, Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, which is an anime from 2012, I think. And it has a spin-off as well. That series, like, I adore that series. I love it a lot. But, you know, like, I think any Magi fan would be the first— I am struggling with the sleeve. Any Magi fan would be the first to tell you that it's not— the show struggles with a lot of things. However, the thing is like, I still find, even so, I still find the show, like, super interesting with what it's trying to do. I really love, like, all of the characters and the themes and its world building and all of that. And so it's like, even though I would be the first to tell you, yeah, the show is really, really rough at some points, like, yeah, even though I'd be, like, the first to say that, I still wouldn't, like, be like, I don't know, the show, like, my criticisms of this show is X, Y, and Z, if that makes any sense. Like, I would say, yeah, there's, like, issues with it, it's not the best show out there, and, you know, but at the same time, I wouldn't, like, criticize it too much, except the final arc. I could criticize the final arc, like, for days. You know, but, you know, if you'd ask me, like, what do you like about the show, or what do you think of the themes, or what do you think of Sinbad's character, like, Mike, like, you'd probably think that I was talking about, like, the best piece of media in the world, with, like, how much I love that. How much I love the themes and the characters. I might accidentally, like, make you guys believe, like, oh dang, this show is, like, really, really good. And it's a good show, but it's not, like, it's not Shakespeare. I think I'll leave it like that, yeah. Did the music just end? Oh, I think the music just ended. It did. No. So I'm kind of doing, like, a similar thing with Epic, where it's really just me, like, dissecting the musical and, like, trying to, like, point out all of the little details and general story plots and character stuff, and yeah, this is a cool little analysis. Cool little analysis. But, and I do have, like, my few criticisms here and there, but, like, I wouldn't call it a review per se. Or maybe it is, and maybe I'm just dumb and I don't know what is a review. I don't know. Why did I ever make a brush that, like, is this way? This is, like, my own brush that I made because I wanted to replicate the round brush from Clip Studio Paint. Because as amazing and as portable as Procreate is, and trust me, Procreate is very, very convenient and portable. There's a reason why a lot of artists use it. Like, it does not hold a candle to Clip Studio Paint. I just use it now because it's so convenient. I also hate the fact that Clip Studio Paint, like, you have to buy it on an iPad. Even if you already have an account, because, like, for example, if you have Clip Studio Paint, right? Like, if you bought it, it means that you have to make an account for Clip Studio. And so, you know, once you already have an account for Clip Studio, which means that you bought it, you can re-download it, like, on another device, right? So, like, you get a new computer and you reinstall Clip Studio Paint, and then you put in your account and you have it because you already bought it. Like, you bought the account in a certain sense. And so I thought that you could do that with an iPad because I really wanted to get Clip Studio Paint on an iPad, and I was under the assumption that it was a similar logic as with a computer. And then I see, no, I have to pay for it. I have to pay for the mobile version, but it's like, I mean, yeah, it is technically the mobile version, but like, not like on a phone type of mobile, if that makes any sense. And I just kind of, I was like, nah, that was dumb. And so I cracked and got Procreate, because Procreate is relatively cheap. And I mean, I think I will get Clip Studio on iPad eventually, though. Although it might be a subscription model. If it is a subscription model, then hell no. No. If it is a subscription model, then I'm not getting that. Because, like, the big appeal with Clip Studio is the fact that it's a one-time payment. And yeah, I know there's, like, Clip Studio Plus, Clip Studio X, Clip Studio... I don't know, there's that other version which is a subscription-based model. Like, I know that. But, like, normal Clip Studio, like the base version, is only, like, $40. And that's it. You bought it, and you have it. Simple as that. And it's great, and I love that. Because, like... I don't know, it's a very, very good art program. I mean, it's the reason why it's, like, the most favored by artists these days. It's the reason why it's the industry standard for manga. Because it is. Because it's just that efficient and accessible. Like, if you have a decent amount of cash, it's accessible. It's not like Photoshop, where the Adobe suite is like $60-something per month, which is so stupid. $60-something per month for the whole Adobe suite. And the worst part about Photoshop, like, I know there's artists that like Photoshop. Like, I know that they're out there and they really, really like it. I know that Gigi, the person who does, like, all of those super cool epic animatics, like, like, I'm pretty sure they use Photoshop. Like, I'm pretty sure. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I find out that they use Clip Studio, but I'm, like, pretty certain that what they actually use is Photoshop. And like, that just surprises me, because I had to use Photoshop for a lot of my classes. And, like, you know what's bad? When even your own professors are like, yeah, it's really not the best art program, even if it's the industry standard in the States. And the reason why is because, well, I mean, it's in the name. Photoshop. It's not an art program. It was never meant to be an art program. It just so happened that a lot of artists started to use it. And so Photoshop started to cater to those artists. But at its most basic form, Photoshop is a photo editing program, not a, not an art program. And you can kind of feel it. I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than, like, you can feel that it wasn't made for drawing in its foundation, as opposed to Clip Studio, which I mean, yeah, you can feel it. You can tell that this was a program made for artists, most likely made by artists, and, like, yeah, it's accessible. Like, it's relatively accessible. It's hard to use on the surface, but once you get the basics down, I mean, dude, and, like, the brushes are really good. And I'm just glazing Clip Studio, but Clip Studio is just a really, really good program. And they have their 3D models, and they have, like, these custom brushes to help, like, make the art process a lot faster, especially for manga. Because Clip Studio is the industry standard for manga now. And, like, it's cool. It's like, oh, but Pep, if you love Clip Studio so much, why aren't you using it? Why are you using Procreate? The answer is really simple, because Procreate is portable and convenient. It's portable and it's convenient. And for silly little illustrations like this, like I can use Procreate. Alright. Whoops. Illustrator is even worse. Adobe Illustrator? Adobe Illustrator is so much worse. You know, like, for a program called Illustrator, it's, like, not illustration friendly. And, like, I do know that Illustrator is more so for graphic design. Like, it's called Illustrator, but honestly, I think they should change it to, like, Designer or something. Because Illustrator is more popular for, like, yeah, like, graphic design. And it's actually really good for graphic design. It's very helpful for graphic design. I just think the title is misleading. I just think that the title of Illustrator is so misleading. It makes you think that it's for drawing. It's not. It should be called, like, Designer or Graphic or something like that. But whatever, they've been committing to this for, like, over 20 years. They're stuck with Illustrator now. Actually, let me fix that. I'm trying here. I don't know what I'm trying, but I'm trying. Okay, good. I got it. I got it, guys. Yay. Epic, awesome, cool. Yeah, okay. I might as well just draw this part of the tunic. Do I have it extend further, or do I just leave it like that? Actually, you know, I'll just leave it like that. Nope, didn't like that. That was ugly. You know what I was thinking one day? That maybe I should start... Okay, actually, this requires, like, the tiniest bit of context. So, actually, no, that actually does require quite a bit of context. Okay, so, I've been writing, like, a decent amount of Genshin fanfictions for the past, like, 2 years, and it mostly just started off as something silly between me and my friends. That was it. It was just fun, silly, goofy. That was it. And... like, it kind of sort of evolved into being, like, a little bit more serious. Not, like, super uber, like, this is my magnum opus, like, this is the best piece of writing that I've ever, or, like, this story means, like, so much to me or anything. It's not like that. It's just that, like, the stories ended up being a little bit more serious than I thought they would be. Or more like I started treating the story a little bit more seriously. And I kind of saw this as a perfect opportunity to really practice my writing. Because, like, this might sound crazy to you people,
but I don't actually write fanfiction all that much. And I know that sounds weird because like my whole thing is that like I'm super into like cartoons and anime and stories and stuff like that. Like my whole thing is making like silly fan animations, which are basically fanfic, but like 2 minutes, you know, like funny little skits with characters. It's like my whole thing. And so like I guess like if I it looks like I'm somebody who does fanfiction, who like writes fanfiction, and like I do occasionally, but not like that much until recently, because I started seeing it as a great opportunity to like practice writing. And I had this silly little idea, I had this funny little idea that like because I'm treating this as like training, I guess, for like my actual serious work, you know, I'll leave it like that. Because I see this as like training in a sense for my like for reals serious work, I was thinking like I want to get some feedback for this. And I know that sounds weird, like give me feedback for dumb little Genshin fanfics, but I mean more like feedback in the storytelling, I guess, sort of sense. And so I had this silly idea that like once I finally release these fics, which is like 2 of them, technically 3, I'm like finishing up the 3rd. I was thinking that like once I finish these fics, like once I have them out there, what if, here's my thought, what if I like read them out as kind of like an audiobook type thing. So if you don't want to read it, you can at least hear it. I would do like a little audiobook type thing with like music and with music and like sound effects and maybe some illustrations, not that many, just like an image every 5 minutes just to get like a better sense at what's going on or something like that. And then like, I don't know, then you guys could get like a cool little taste of like my storytelling, I guess. I don't know. I had that thought. Because if there's one thing I really, really want to show more, I guess, is my writing. Yeah, it's something I want to show a lot more because as much as I see myself as an artist, I mostly see my art as a springboard for stories, and so do a lot of artists as well. And to me, like, I've always had the belief that, like, good art means nothing if it's not a good story. Okay, like, not that it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes good art can surpass the story, I do think. But I think generally, people are willing to forgive less than stellar art if the writing is really good. You know, kind of like Attack on Titan or One Punch Man, where both mangakas, at least when they started, didn't have exactly the best technical skills when it came to drawing, but because their writing skills were really, really well done, like, people didn't care. And then at least the One Punch Man guy, like, hired some other person to, like, draw out the scenes that he probably always envisioned. And I am not liking how this is looking. I'll do that later. And I mean, not that writing means everything. I really, really love The Greatest Showman. I really love The Greatest Showman. I will be the first to tell you that, like, the story is fine. It's a good story. It's a cute story. It's a little like sus because of P.T. Barnum and all of that, but you could say the same thing with Hamilton, I guess. But like, for me, what the Greatest Showman is to me is like, it is the perfect example of style over substance, but oh my god, I am in love with the style. So it's not that writing means absolutely everything, you know, like if the music and the vibe is immaculate, then I can forgive it. Then again, I'm also not that much of a critic, so I guess that's also a thing. But I do believe that generally, the writing of your story, is like one of the most important parts, generally. What I'm trying to say here is that I want to improve my writing, and I want you guys to get a little taste of my writing. Especially my current writing.
Like, I've showed, like, little teases here and there of some of my stories in the past, but the thing is that, like, you know, you, like, improve with your art and your skill over time. Like, this? This right here? This right here? Like, just how I'm drawing the clothing is so, like, it's not, like, astronomically different, but you can tell the difference. You can tell the improvement. Even if it's not, like, the most crazy improvement in the world. Like, you can tell that it has changed and evolved over the years. And very similar with my writing. My writing has also changed and evolved during the years. And so it's like, you know, I want you guys to have a little taste of how it is now. And why now, you suddenly wonder? Why now do you want to do that? Well, first is because I'm out of school, so I actually have, like, time. I actually have time to, like, sit my ass down and work on projects and stuff. But also because, like, it's, well, actually, no, it is still because I'm out of school. But it's like, I'm at a point now where I'm like, I want to lock in. I want to really lock in and start working on these projects. I mean, that was kind of like the whole point of my I'm back video. Was the fact that, like, I spent all of this time learning. Might as well use these skills. This stupid fold is going to, like, ruin me. Oh my god. Because this is a tangent. I don't want a tangent. Why is it a tangent? What if I just put it up here? See, one thing I have to constantly tell myself is that sometimes I just kind of have to let something be. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to art, when it comes to my drawings, but sometimes I just need to be like, you know what, if you spend all of your days focusing on this one thing, you're never gonna get it done. Might as well get it done. Okay. Okay. Sleeve. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is I was thinking of doing fun little, like, audiobook type thingies, like readings? Dramatic readings, I think is what it would be called. Yeah, little dramatic readings of some of my fics. I had this idea. I was experimenting with, like, with the first two, and technically the third. Like it was an idea that I had. That, like, what if? How would the story go for someone who knows nothing about Genshin Impact? That was, like, one of the challenges I gave myself. Because, again, I was kind of seeing it as practice for my own writing. So it's like, imagine this is an original work that nobody knows about. So that was, like, also one of my challenges. So I don't know, I was thinking that, like, hey, in the event that you're not, like, super into Genshin, or if you don't know that much about Genshin lore, actually, that's good. That is actually exactly what I'm looking for. Like, I think, like, the idea that I had for these fics is that knowing the lore helps a lot, like, an immense amount. Like, knowing Genshin, knowing the lore, knowing the basics going on, like, I am writing it with that idea that you kind of sort of know what this is, but I also, like, one of the challenges I gave myself is, what if this person doesn't know? You know, kind of like if it were an original work. So, like, even if you don't know anything about, like, Genshin or anything like that, if anything that is, like, more valuable to me, let's say, yeah. Ooh, that's actually, that's it's not bad, that's not bad. You know, sometimes your hand goes in a direction you don't want it to, but it's not bad at all. You see how it looks? Okay. Well, we'll keep it, I'm into it. Actually, no, it doesn't need that. Oop, I went dead silent again. Okay, I think I'm gonna, yeah. I'm gonna like thin out this finger a little bit because it's a little bit inconsistent with the others. It's fine enough, I guess. It's whatever. Wait a second. Hold on a second. I missed a bunch of comments from you guys. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice. Sorry. It's just like, oh man, I use my phone to look at all of like the comments you guys have, and for some reason it wasn't loading, and I was like, hold on a second. Something feels off. Let's see. Okay. let me read some of these. Okay, Neosonic Fan 100 says, Far, I was just letting you know ahead of time. Alright, let's chill. Chorus says, to lock in or to yap? That is the question. That is indeed the question when it comes to a drawing stream. Neosonic Fan says, How to Train Your Dragon is awesome. I really need to watch the How to Train Your Dragon series again, because I watched the first one a long time ago. I only watched it once, a million years ago, and then I watched the third one time, like, during New Year's, I think, or Christmas with my family, because, I don't know, I just thought it looked cool, and I liked it, but I didn't have, like, the context of the second movie, and I also didn't have that many memories from the first, but from what I know, it is a very good show. It's a series. It's a very good series, and I do want to see it again. Cora says, hair can have plenty of volume. That is true. Congrats on your new upcoming musical. Yeah! my new musical, yes. I'm a songwriter, guys, if you didn't know that. Epic the Musical Explained Deep Dive? Yeah, I was thinking, actually, yeah, kind of like, explained is actually a very good way to put it. Yeah, Epic the Musical Explained, I guess. On PC, it's a one-time purchase, but iPad, I'm pretty sure it's a subscription. Okay, then yeah, I had a feeling. It could, Chorus says it could be pretty cool. I'm assuming I'm talking about, like, the Genshin fanfics. Thank you. I don't know. I think it'd be a really fun idea, especially since, like, most of you guys know that, like, I've basically become the Genshin person. Like, this channel has slowly, like, kind of just become a Genshin channel in a sort of way.
Charles says, OPM guy was also skilled in some scene framing, I believe. Like storyboarding? If that's the case, I do believe that, yeah. Cora says real. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, for some reason, like, the comments were not loading, and I highly apologize for that. Ah, no wonder. Cause I was like, dang, you guys are silent? I mean, not that you're supposed to, like, comment in the chat or anything like that, but I was like, that's like less than normal. Okay, I got that part done. Alright, let's... Yeah! Look at my man go. Actually, let me... probably... have something here. Alright. Yeah, okay, the skirt. The thing that's meant to be easy. 'Tis all good. Yeah. Ah. It's just a tad awkward where I'm like, dang, nobody's like saying anything. Actually, no, let me do that again. But actually, on the silly subject of musicals and fanfiction, I swear, like, it's not that scary, well, okay, I have 2 of those Genshin fics completed. I just have to, like, edit, like, or more like look over, proofread the second one, and I'm currently working on the 3rd one. And for some gosh darn reason, I had the idea of like, ooh, I could do one for like Natlan and Sumeru too, cause I'm crazy. So it's okay. This it's like, how do I describe this without me sounding absolutely insane? But I'm already sounding insane. So all 3 of these fics are based off of musicals. Loosely. It's not like a direct one-to-one, but they're loosely based off of musicals. So the first 2 fics, are, related to Mondstadt lore. It mostly has to do with Venti, which is the Animo Archon of Mondstadt, and his backstory, because I think, I'm biased, okay? We need to get that out of the way. Venti is my favorite character. I'm sure I've mentioned that in some of my streams before. Venti is my favorite. I love him very much. Farina comes at a close second. He's my favorite character, and so I am biased when I say this, but I find his backstory very fascinating. And not only that, just like who he is in Mondstadt history, if that makes any sense. Like a big part of his character is that although yes, I do believe that his happy-go-lucky personality is mostly his actual self, there is very clearly a sense of acting in there. He's very clearly putting on some sort of mask for the hidden pain he has, and that ain't me making up, like, just making shit up. Like, that's like the entire point of his story quest. The whole point of his story quest is that, like, you come to find that this is like a deeply depressed individual who has not been able to process the death of his friend very well, even after 2,000 years, and he, like, drowns himself in alcohol for probably a variety of reasons, but that most likely is one of them. And I don't know, I think it's a very interesting part of his character. That, like, he hides it behind, like, his silly happy-go-lucky mask. And then there's Farina, who's actually hiding behind a silly happy-go-lucky mask, and she's suffering inside. But, like, with Venti in particular,
because again, this started as a silly little fanfic between me and a friend of mine. I was like, hey, what if there's a lot of lore on how Venti became Archon? There's like literally an entire narrative that is created, but it's like scattered around like artifacts and books and stuff like that. Like remember when we were looking for lore in Natlin, and then I eventually just went like, I'll just go to the wiki. But like you remember that, and the Ochka Natlin quest like did have like a good amount of lore and stuff. But Mondstadt wasn't like that. Mondstadt didn't have like a quest that really focused on the lore. And it's very funny because like it's all laid out in these like scattered places here and there, which honestly kind of makes me really sad because I think Mondstadt lore is fascinating, is very interesting, and nobody else is interested in it. But I can't blame people either, because the game never gave you an incentive to look for Mondstadt lore. Like, the only incentive I think it actually gave you was Amber, very early on in the story, mentioned Dvalin and how he used to be one of the Four Winds. And then she says something like, if you want to learn more about our history, go check out the library. And that's kind of like it. And I think that's like the only real incentive the game ever gave you to like look into the lore. And like, who was gonna do that? No one was gonna do that. And so no one did. And so then one day I decided to like sit my ass down and read it. And like, maybe I'm just insane, but it like low-key made me just like really sad reading it. I was like, this is genuinely a really sad story. Which is funny because it's like the whole story isn't like laid out as a narrative. It's like bits and pieces here and there. And yet I was still like, dang, this has some really good potential. And so it started off with me having the idea of like, what if I combine all of these snippets together and make them into like a full cohesive narrative? And coincidentally, at the time, one of my friends introduced me to the musical Newsies, which is on Disney Plus. And like, I low-key, actually no, it wasn't low-key, high-key, extremely high-key. I became really obsessed with that musical. I kind of fell in love with it. I really, really fell in love with it. I loved it so much. And since Newsies is about the Newsies strike of the like 1890s, yeah, because it was based off of a Newsies strike, it already kind of had this like revolutionary, rebellious feel to it. And if you didn't know, Mondstadt is the City of Freedom, but the reason why it's the City of Freedom, it's because they've had a history of rebellions and revolutions. And the story of Venti becoming the Animo Archon is no exception. And so I decided to use Newsies as a template for the story. And you could be like, but didn't the lore already have a template? Not necessarily. Like I said, it's just like scattered pieces of information, a lot of it, but not as many that it would create a cohesive narrative, if that makes any sense. Or more like, there's not really a timeline of events. Like, you get events, but there's no real timeline for those events. And I wanted to formulate a timeline of that. Cora says, the Venti fans would be eating some pretty good angst then. Yes! I mean, that's kind of low-key how it started, because me and my friend are like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we wrote a fic about Venti's past, but it's like really emotional and sad. I just thought it'd be funny. I think at first I wanted to put a bit more Hamilton inspiration in there, because Hamilton is, about an actual revolution. But the problem with Hamilton, like for me to use as a guideline, is the fact that Hamilton really isn't about the revolution. It's about Hamilton. It just so happens that it takes place during the revolution, if that makes any sense. And so I went with Newsies because the narrative just focused a lot more on this, like, on the strike and the rebellion and not the rebellion. You get what I mean. Like, the story is very much focused on the strike, which was easy to pair with a rebellion.
Yeah, and again, I kind of used it more as a timeline, like a basis, like a guide, because of course, like, the characters don't fit one-to-one perfectly, but yeah. One of my favorite things to, like, play around with was the character of Decarabian, which was the previous god. Yeah, the previous god of Mondstadt, because the few times they bring him up in, like, actual voiced cutscenes, like, for example, when Venti brings him up, and Jean as well, it's only ever in the negative. It's only ever, he was a tyrant, he was bad, no good, and that's why he died. And in a lot of the snippets of lore, it does follow this narrative. He was bad, he was a tyrant, he, like, restricted people from freedom, blah blah blah, yeah. However, there was this one, I think it was in one of the weapons, I think it was in Amos's bow, I think it was that, where it was written, well, not in the perspective, the little snippet, the little weapon lore was mostly focused on this character named Amos, who used to be Decarabian's lover. And the narrative had a not a vastly different view of Decarabian, but it was different enough that I thought it was really fascinating. And it was the fact that Decarabian loved his people. Like, he loved them a lot. But the problem was that he isolated himself from people, and from everything, actually. He isolated himself from basically anything and everything, that although he loved his people dearly, he never understood them. And so when his people were like, we want to leave the storm barrier you have placed, he is like, why would you do that? It's dangerous out there. And like, it's also important to mention that, like, during this, in the timeline of the Greater Teyvat, the Archon War is going on, so when he says that it's dangerous out there, like, he ain't bluffing. Like, it is genuinely dangerous out there. Every time they ever mention the Archon War in Genshin, it is always described as a bloodbath. It's just senseless slaughter. It was terrible. It was awful. So, like, Decarabian ain't lying when he's like, why the heck would you want to go out there when you're safe in here? And it's, like, part of that complicated thing. Cora says, the revolution was a side piece to Hammy's fanfic. And so, I don't know, that, like, really fascinated me. Because, I don't know, I just thought it was really cool that, like, there was a lot more to his actions than just cruel tyrant. There was clearly something a lot more complicated going on there, and I thought that was interesting. And so I also wanted to touch more on that. There's also the subject of the Nameless Bard, which is Venti's dead friend. And I really wanted to focus, because Venti says, like, once, like once, in the Mondstadt quest, that everything he learned about freedom came from that friend. And so I was like, okay, I want to also touch on the friendship between this boy and what was at the time a wind spirit, and how this boy inspired the wind spirit to, you know, become like the Anemo Archon he is now. Stuff like that. Story stuff. But I kind of went off track. It was supposed to be based off of Newsies. And then, cause see, like I said, originally this fic was just meant to be its own standalone thing. It was just something silly between me and my friend that I've mentioned like a million times already. And then I was like, you know what would also be interesting? A sequel. Not in modern day Teyvat, but about the other rebellion Mondstadt had in its history. And it had to do with this gladiator and former slave, because there was slavery in Mondstadt back then, this girl named Vanessa, who is from Natlan. Or at least, like, her people are from Natlan, but, like, she wasn't born there or anything, so, like, yeah. And so I thought, ooh, wouldn't it be interesting if, like, not only is it a sequel, but it's, like, Venti seeing, like, the hell that he went through for the first rebellion, and he comes back, and he sees that his nation needs a new rebellion. And I was thinking, like, it kind of breaks him because he saw, like, all of his hard work and effort, the death of his dear friend, like, in his mind kind of meant for nothing for, like, a hot second. Something like that. I was going for. And I just realized that I messed with the... darn. It's like I messed with the horizon line here. Come on. You're an artist. You should know how horizon lines should work. Dum-dum. So, for the second fanfic, my idea was, like, the musical that I took as inspiration was Hamilton this time, actually. Because I was like, yeah, there's another rebellion going on, but, like, you know, we already experienced the whole making of a rebellion in the first fic. What about in this fic? It's actually more about Venti, more of a character study, so to say, which fit a lot more into Hamilton, where, as I mentioned, it was a lot more about Alexander himself than the revolution going on. And so, yeah, so basically, the first fic is based off of Newsies. The second fic is based off of Hamilton. This third one that I'm doing is not Mondstadt, it's Fontaine. It is not based off of any actual Fontanian history. Like, I take a lot of, like, Fontanian world building, but it's not, like, part of the lore or anything. My basic idea was, hear me out, guys, and it sounds stupid, and that was actually kind of part of the joke. Part of the idea was that, like, it was, how will I make this work? And it was Fontaine, or more specifically, like, Nicolette and Farina, within the Heights. And, like, every time I mentioned that to someone, they were like, what is wrong with you? What are you smoking? Oh, like, what? And I'm like, no, listen, hear me out. What is In the Heights about? Yes, okay, it's about a bunch of Hispanics living in New York City, but no, like, the themes, okay? Forget about that. What is the main theme of In the Heights? And at least to me, the main theme of In the Heights is learning to love where you are, or I guess more accurately, finding the love you once had in something, or like you once had in a place, even if it's flawed. Because like a big part of In the Heights story is that the neighborhood that all of the characters live in kind of sucks. It's the hood. It kind of sucks, and it's poor, and the rents are super high, and there's like a healthy dose of crime. And most of the characters want to leave. And guess what? Most of the characters do leave. But the main character, who is the one who seemingly wants to leave the most he possibly can, like throughout the, like over the course of the story, he kind of finds love for this neighborhood again. And so even though all of his other friends do eventually leave the neighborhood, he decides to stay because, as he puts it, who else is going to keep the memory of this place alive? Everyone else is leaving, might as well stay, so I can, like, stay here and tell the stories and blah 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 blah. Chorus says, I can kind of see it. No, let me continue. So what is Fontaine? Fontaine is the Tavatian version of hell. Fontaine is absolutely terrible. Like, literally look up any backstory of a Fontaine character, and, like, Hoyoverse seriously, they seemed to be having a competition as to, like, which character can we give, like, the most messed up backstory. Like, we have, like, characters who basically come from the slums, characters who have been trafficked, like, there's, like, synth, which is literally a drug into that. There's, like, some synth dealings. They're in the Industrial Revolutions. They mention the existence of sweatshops. Fontaine is hell, okay? Fontaine is terrible, and the people are terrible. But I had this idea that, like, specifically with Nicolette, I was thinking Nicolette is the main character of this story, that I had this idea that, like, oh, after, like, 70-something years of Nicolette being the Chief Justice, he doesn't like Fontaine, and he wants to leave, and similar to Usnavi and In the Heights, over the course of the story, he starts gaining an appreciation for Fontaine, and it's like, yeah, Fontaine is hell, but it's our hell, and it's like, I still love it despite all of its flaws, and if I stay, like, I might give it a chance for it to improve. That was the basic idea I was going for. I'm getting too serious. I'm getting too serious. Like I said, I kind of accidentally started treating these stories with a certain level of seriousness, but that was the basic idea I had. Because, like, I don't know, I felt like the basic theme of In the Heights, which is, you know, like, learning to love, like, your little own piece of hell, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know, I think that, like, fits a lot with Fontaine. So, yeah. And Farina's there too, don't worry. But see, the thing is that Farina, I was thinking in this story, just like in the actual game, she got her own stuff going on. She has her own problems. So, because Farina is kind of going through her own stuff, like, I couldn't properly make her into a main character. Wholesome Stockholm Syndrome! Yeah, kind of, a little bit, yeah. A little bit, yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, you could describe it as that. I don't know, I kind of saw it as, like, a really sweet message about, like, pushing through adversity kind of thing. Like, you leaving is, like, I don't know, kind of like the easy way out, and it's like, if there is a chance that the neighborhood could improve, might as well take it, kind of. That's how I saw it, but, like, you know, Wholesome Stockholm Syndrome also works. Third one. Now, I was thinking of doing a fic with Remus. It would not be based off of a musical, because the story of Remus is kind of, like, just laid out in front of you. Like, it's not Mondstadt, is what I'm trying to say. Like, there is a definitive timeline with definitive events and a very, very emotional story that made me cry. Honestly, I mostly just want to do it because I genuinely loved Remus's character that much, as y'all know. So, yeah. So he wouldn't be, like, his story probably wouldn't be based off of it. And actually, I've been wanting to do that. I had the idea of doing, like, a Remus fic before I even did this dumb Fontaine one. The Fontaine one, honestly, just kind of came with, like, a crack idea where I was like, hear me out, guys, hear me out, guys. Nivelette as Usnavi. Like, it literally sparked from that dumbass idea. I was like, okay, but could I make it work? I made Hamilton, well, I hope I made Hamilton work with Mondstadt. Can I make In the Heights work with Fontaine? Oh yeah, not only that, like, In the Heights also has, like, a very clear narrative. Not narrative. In the Heights also has very strong allusions to classism and racism as well. Because, you know, a big part of the story is about these Hispanic immigrants in New York City. So there's, like, a level of classism because, you know, they're, like, poor in a very big city. And there's also, like, this vague racism going on as well. Which sounds crazy for Fontaine, but again, Fontaine was Hoyoverse really trying to push what, like, I guess what they could do, I guess, in Genshin. And, like, in Nivelette's story quest, we kind of learned that Fontainians really did not like, they like Nivelette now, but that's because he's been there for, like, 500 years. But in his story quest, we learned that when he first started working in Fontaine, people did not like him. They did not trust him. And they don't know he's a dragon, but they thought he was some sort of, like, demon sent to, like, punish them or something like that. And Nivelette also had the Melazines. And if you didn't know, the Melazines are these little... the most politically charged story quest. It was very much, yeah. And it was also, like, it was also really sad. It was also really, really sad. And they also really pushed, like, I thought, no, they still did. I thought they, like, really, like, pushed what they could do with Linny and Lynette. And actually, I still think that's probably the farthest they've ever pushed, but Nivelette's story came close. It came pretty close, I'd say.
But yeah, so there's the people don't like Nivelette. They know that he's not human. They don't know he's a dragon, but they definitely don't like him. And then there are the Melazines, and if you didn't know, the Melazines are, I think they're supposed to be based off of Fae in a sort of sense, but like in Genshin, they're like these little humanoid creatures that were born from an abyssal dragon. And Nivelette found them, and he basically adopted them as his daughters. And basically, what am I talking about? Like, he did. Like, he adopted them as his daughters, and he brought them to the court of Fontaine, and just like with him, the people did not like them. They did not like the Melazines in the slightest. And if they saw Nivelette as like a demon to be feared, they saw the Melazines as like the demon spawn. And a big part of Nivelette's story quest is that like conflict between the Fontainians and the Melazines. And of course the Melazines were kind of used as like how Nivelette feels about himself and all of that. What I am trying to say is that there is allusions to racism. That's what I'm trying to say here. They're very clear allusions to racism and like not immigration, but like you moving to a place where your kind isn't welcomed. Look, what I'm trying to say is that it made sense to me, okay? What I'm trying to say is that this bullshit connection made sense in my brain. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Yeah. Okay, I don't like how that strap looked. That looked dumb. Okay. Oh my god, am I gonna be done with the line art tonight? I think I might be. Okay, I didn't do the poll, but like, I'll do the poll separately. It's just 2 lines. Oh my god. Okay. Sure, fine, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I do give as an early, if I do these dumb little audio dramatic readings, I was gonna say audiobook, I don't know, dramatic reading thingies of these fics, I think with, like, the Fontaine one specifically, I think I'll have to put, like, a disclaimer for all them Genshin fans and be like, disclaimer, I kinda sort of ship Nivelette and Farina. So, fair warning for y'all who don't like it, and it sounds dumb, but, like, dude, like, the Genshin fandom is whack, okay? The Genshin fandom is horrible sometimes. Actually, no, a lot of the times, the Genshin fandom is atrocious, but, like, I don't know what it was about Nivelette and Farina, but people hate this ship a lot. Not everybody, obviously. Like, the ship exists for a reason, but, like, there are some people who would, like, they would basically assume the worst things about you, and I'm here like, brother, they pixels, dude. Like, not only are they pixels, but, like, dude, like, they're both adults and they're not related. I don't see the issue. I mean, I ship them because of, like, story potential reasons, like, I don't know, that's me. Yeah, because I kind of forgot to mention that. Chorus says, yeah, shipping is usually going to have intense drama. Yeah, I know, and I always thought it was weird, specifically with this ship in general, because, like, I might sound crazy. I might sound absolutely crazy. But Genshin famously doesn't confirm anything. Like, they famously don't confirm any ships or relationships or any like that. There's definitely characters that are coded a certain way. That's definitely, specifically, like, Alhaitham, Kaveh, Sino, and Tignari. Like, those characters are really, like, heavily queer-coded. However, like, you know, Genshin hasn't fully confirmed anything. And they don't even do that with their with the popular straight ships. They don't even do that. Because, like, at first I could be like, well, yeah, they can't do it because, like, it's in China and for censorship. But they don't even do it for their straight ships either. So, like, ultimately, it really doesn't matter. But look, I might sound absolutely crazy. But, like, Nivelette and Farina, like, at least to me, are so... To me, it is so clear that even if it's not supposed to be romantic, Hoyoverse really, 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 really wants you to know that they are close. Like, that is so obvious. Like, even if it's not specifically romantic, Hoyoverse wants you to know that these two, like, have a very deep connection. Okay? Charles says best reason to ship. For, like, story reasons? I think it is, yeah. That's mostly why I ship. I'm not that big of a shipper, honestly. I'm really not. And that probably has to do with the fact that I'm just not super big on the romance genre in general. Like, I like it when it appears, but it's not something that, like, I ever actively seek out or anything like that. So, music turned off. Let me put it back on. But, yeah, no, but I genuinely believe that whatever they were planning, well, not planning, whatever they were doing with Nivelette and Farina, like, I can feel, you know, it's one of those, this is just me headcanoning, I guess. I think that the writers themselves ship them, but they don't want to make a canon. That's what I think. No, obviously, if you don't think so, you know, obviously that's fine. This is just me and my super biased self talking. You know, it could very easily be not. But, like, I could literally, like, I said this to one of my friends, but I could literally make an entire PowerPoint to show, like, what these two have going on in canon. Like, not even in, like, fandom stuff, but, like, in canon. They have, like, a stupid amount of stuff together. Like, here I am. I'm ranting about a stupid ship now, but this is where we are. It's like 9. I'm gonna try to finish there's not that much line art left. After I finish the line art, we're gonna cut the stream. I'm ranting about a ship right now. Alright, guys. Okay. Number one. The two are heavily implied. The two are heavily implied to have lived together. Okay? Like, they make it pretty clear that Farina lives at the Palais Mermonia, which is just the palace. It's just the palace in Fontaine. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. She was the Archon for the longest time. It makes sense that she's treated like a princess. Makes sense. Nivelette's office is at the Palais Mermonia. Nivelette is the Chief Justice. He basically does all of the jobs that Farina can't. Wouldn't it make complete sense that, like, he also lives at the Palais? Also, some of the Melazines work at the Palais, which is where Farina lives, and he works directly under Farina. It makes sense, is what I'm saying. Like, it's heavily implied. They were roommates! Yes! Sorry, yes! They're basically the roommates trope. It is heavily implied that they live together. Or at least they used to live together before Farina left. That's number 1. Number 2, they have been working together. They work together, especially in the court trials. That doesn't sound super important, but it's like, they're heavily implied to have lived together. They have worked together, hold on for a second, for 400 years, okay? Like, they know each other very well for 400 years. Just let that sink in. Alright. There's that, okay? I lost track of numbers already. It's not important. I'm just rambling at this point. Wait. My brain needs to come back. Hold on. Wait. Oh, yeah. Symbolism. Nivelette is the scales, Farina is the sword. Like for justice symbolism, because Fontaine is a nation of justice. Yeah, Farina is the sword, Nivelette is the scales. That's pretty obvious, like, Nivelette's, like, little design, his, like, outfit, his, like, judge robe thingies are clearly, like, based off of a scale, and Farina, like, is based off of a sword, and they both have little patterns at the bottom of their shoes, which is a scale and a sword, respectively. Oh yeah, that too. They both have little patterns on the bottom of their shoes. Both of them wear mostly dark blue with white hair with blue highlights. Okay? Both of them have that. Okay, am I done with, like, your body? Okay, yeah, okay. I'll just do your cloak now. Both of them have that. The part that always gets me is the fact that Justice is blind. So is love? Love? Where was I? Oh yeah, the fact that the two of them, okay, Nivelette's age is highly, highly debated. Because for the longest time, it was implied that he was like 500-ish years old. However, then, like, one event with Farina had to absolutely ruin it by her saying that he was 1,000. But, like, look. I understand, like, if the characters are portrayed as adults, okay, just hear me out. If the characters are portrayed as adults, after the 100 range, I don't think it matters, okay? Like, I don't think it matters. I kind of skipped the part that Farina is 500. So, like, if we're going with, like, the general idea that Nivelette is 500, both of them are the same age. But if Nivelette is 1,000, because they had to, like, I guess they retconned it, I don't know. But if Nivelette is 1,000, honestly, I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters because they're both very clearly portrayed as adults. Yeah. There's that. Okay, this sounds like absolutely, like, kind of random, but, like, Nivelette's whole, like, his whole thing is that he's a very, very emotionally sensitive person. This is more on, like, storytelling thing. Nivelette is a very emotionally sensitive person. He's somebody who tries to hide his emotions, but they break eventually. He breaks eventually. Like, if you didn't know, in Fontaine lore, Nivelette is the Hydro Sovereign. The Hydro Sovereign of Water. That makes no sense. The Dragon Sovereign of Water, or the Hydro Dragon. And because he has such a strong domain over his element, in Fontaine, when he cries, it rains. Right? And so it created, like, a whole, like, legend in Fontaine that whenever it rained, it means that the Hydro Dragon is crying, which is then revealed to, like, be real, because that's what happens when Nivelette cries. And it is, I don't remember where exactly, but it said something there's somewhere that mentioned that Fontaine has a rainy season, and that rainy season happens to coincide with the same time of the year where Fontaine has the most court trials, which, I love him. Cora says, when they're super mega old, time kind of loses a bit of meaning. It really does. And I want to mention this because, unfortunately, you know, there's going to be some people that are going to say, like, oh, but, like, Nahida's 500 years old. And it's like, okay, yes, but Nahida is designed as a child, acts like a child, treated like a child. I'm talking about, like, when characters are specifically portrayed as adults. Because there's, like, I know that there's people who are like that. Yeah, oh yeah, what my point was, I'm sorry, I blew your ears by accident. What my point was, is that Nivelette although he tries to, like, hide his emotions because he wants to be the impartial judge, his emotions break. He's a very, very emotional man. And then there is Farina, who is, like, 10 times more emotional than him. But unlike Nivelette, who, although he tries to bury his emotions, he doesn't really have to, at least outside of his work. Farina And like spoilers for Masquerade of the Guilty that came out like a year ago, Farina had to constantly hide her emotions all the time. Every single second of her life she needed to do that. Like, this girl is super emotionally unstable. She's super emotionally unstable, but she even needed to hide that instability. And it's actually really sad because the first time we ever hear of Farina is a quote from Neuvillette where he mentions that Nahida, which is the god of Sumeru, is like better because at least she doesn't go into hysterics. Which, just to preface, Neuvillette didn't know what was going on with Farina either. But it really adds this level of like tragedy where like Farina still needed to hide her like paranoid emotional instability, and yet it still slipped through, and then everyone just kind of thought that she was like hysterical. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is we have a man who is very much emotional, and although hides his emotions while at work, is a lot more open to them. And then we have this girl who is way more emotionally unstable because she has to hide it all the time. It's just, dude, the fanfic ideas, the storytelling possibilities you can have with that, because even though Neuvillette gets frustrated with her hysterics, like, never once is he ever like, this girl is crazy, I don't like her. It's like, he's just kind of like annoyed at best. And it's like, the storytelling potential, guys. The storytelling potential between these two. Yeah, okay, I can do the stick now. Hey, look at that. Look at my beautiful, beautiful man. Okay, then the stick. So there was that. There is the fact that, like, there is so much official art with these two. There's, like, a stupid amount of official art with these two. Like, a stupid amount. I love it. Chorus says, I can taste the angst. Yes. I mean, what's Fontaine if it isn't, like, the nation of angst? The nation of drama. There's, like, a stupid amount of official art that the two have together. Like, it's, like, I didn't realize just how much it actually was until I looked it up. They have an awful lot of official art together. Oh, there is the fact that the two of them were... Okay, to be fair, Farina knew about the grand plan Focalors placed. I don't know if you guys have any idea what I'm talking about. Okay. Farina had to pretend to be the Archon, but she's actually not. The real Archon is Focalors, who kinda sorta had this, like, massive grand plan to save Fontaine from, like, a prophesized flood. What I'm trying to say is that Farina was part of that plan. It's the reason why she had to pretend to be an Archon, and it's the reason why she kinda had to, kinda hide her true self for 500 years. Neuvillette unknowingly was also part of this grand plan. He didn't know it, though. And the entire reason he came to Fontaine was because he received a letter from the Hydro Archon. And I guess he thought that the letter was interesting enough that he followed through with the letter, he went to Fontaine, and he stayed, and then he never left. But here's the thing. He was under the impression that Farina was the Hydro Archon. So, in his mind, Farina sent him a letter, and he was so intrigued by it that he stayed. Oh, even more so, the letter only ever addressed him as you. Like, that's like a thing in, like, one of his character stories. That, like, one of the reasons the letter fascinated him so much was that it only ever referred to him as you. And it's like, he didn't exactly know how to take that, like... Is it you in the sense that it's personal, or is it you in the sense that it's distant? And it's one of the reasons why I kind of, like, stuck with him and all of that. There's that. When he, oh my god, in his character teaser, when he thinks about, like, his like, basically identity crisis, where he's like, I am a dragon born in human form, what do I do with it, blah, blah, blah. He remembers Farina telling him, why don't you go see for yourself? In Neuvillette's story quest, when it finally sinks into him that the people of Fontaine don't hate him anymore and they genuinely love him, or, like, genuinely appreciate him,
he thinks of something Farina told him, where she basically said, like, you will see much in the human world. Yeah, you will see much in the human world, from, like, the delightful to the depressing, something like that. And at the very end of his quest, we see that Farina sends him a letter basically saying, like, hey, I'm glad that you finally went outside and touched grass, or something like that. But at the end of the letter, she says, so what do you think? The human world isn't that bad now, is it? Like, guys, come on. They're like, come on. Okay, one final thing, because I basically finished with the line art. One final thing. So, Nivelette is actually his last name. Little fun fact for you, because I don't know if many people know that. Nivelette's actually his last name. It's not his first name. We don't know what his first name is. I don't think the first name has ever been, like, revealed at all. We just know that he has one, and he doesn't want to tell it to us. One of Farina's constellations. A constellation is basically like if you roll the gacha system and get a copy of a character, they get you a constellation, which kind of like buffs them. One of Farina's constellations, because they all have titles, is something along the lines of, his name I now know. It is, and then it's ... because it's like teasing you. She knows his name. She knows his name. His first name. Just to make you guys understand, his own daughters, the freaking Melazines, they don't know he's a dragon. And if they don't know he's a dragon, I don't think they know what his name is. I don't think they do. The reason why Nivelette doesn't want to disclose his first name is because he doesn't want to form such a close emotional attachment to you in the event that you are on trial. And for the Melazines, that includes the Melazines, because one of them had to go on trial, which is Sijuin. But anyway, one of the Melazines had to go on trial, which shows that even to his own daughters, he doesn't want to be that close to them in the event that they go on trial. And we also can tell because the Melazines don't know that he's a dragon. They think that he's a Melazine. They think that he's like their older brother who just kind of took up the father position. All right? He disclosed his name to Farina, which means that he was close enough. It means that he was close enough to her that he probably never thought he would ever put her on trial. Okay? Like, he doesn't even do that to us, the protagonist. You know, the guy that everyone's simping for? Cora says, they're super tight then. Yeah, no, exactly. This is, honestly, for me, the second I found out that Farina knows his name was kind of my smoking gun. Whether or not Farina knows if he's a dragon, it's not explicitly stated, but Farina knows his age, which I guess was retconned with him being like 1,000-ish. Farina knows his age. Farina, like, even though it's heavily hinted that it was Focalor that invited Nivelette, Farina clearly knows something about him coming here. Like, I don't know, like, like, I'm trying to, like, explain it in words, like, my brain is absolutely jumbled here, okay? But, like, it was kind of, like, the smoking gun for me. I think there's also the fact that, like, all of her constellations are based off of operas, and each of these operas are, like, have a trend that it's about this woman who, like, sacrifices herself for this guy. The musical that she was a part of! Okay, the Farina's story quest. Farina's story quest is about her, basically after stepping down from acting as an Archon, she kind of goes through, like, a depressive episode for a while before she finds, like, her calling in being a musical director and then later a film director, which is absolutely adorable and is super cute. But anyway, she acts in a musical called The Little Oceanid, which is clearly based on the Little Mermaid, and they mention in the story multiple times that this musical is based off her own life. And although they don't tell us completely what The Little Oceanid is about, because it's kind of like a play on The Little Mermaid, from what I was able to gather, you know, it's about this Oceanid who wants to be human, and she becomes human, and she falls in love with this human man. However, she has to sacrifice herself because, like the human man's town is, like, being destroyed or something, and she has to sacrifice herself for that. And it's like, okay, Farina didn't sacrifice herself, Focalor did, yeah, whatever, but it's the narrative of this girl going through absolute hell, not necessarily for a guy, but for the people that this guy is a part of. Do you see where I'm going, guys? Do you see where I'm going to? I'm like, okay, it's getting late, like, it's getting late. What I'm trying to say here, I'm not trying to say that, like, Nicolette and Farina are canon and that you have to ship them or anything like that. But what I am saying is that they are very, very close. And Hoyoverse clearly wants you to know that they are very, very close. Anyway, so, like, Cora says the vision is there. Yeah, no, like, I don't know. Like, for a game that loves to tease character relations but, like, never actually do anything... Okay, because, like, everyone says that Kaveh and Alhaitham, which are these two boys in Sumeru, everybody says that they are basically canon, because they are the roommate trope. They are then there was roommates, one of them's depressed, the other is a lot more confident. The two have, like, matching animations. Kaveh, like, his earrings are the same color as Alhaitham's eyes. And so a lot of people are like, oh, Kaveh and Alhaitham are basically canon. And you know what? I do agree. Like, it is very clearly, like, intentional on Hoyoverse's part. And I do agree that that is definitely at least somewhat what they're doing with these characters. But this is what I think. If you think that Kaveh and Alhaitham is basically canon because of the little bit of the little fanficky life that they live, and because of their matching animations, right. If you think if they are basically canon, which I do agree, they kind of sort of are, why would you say that Nicolette and Farina aren't? that's just kind of like what I want to say, because, like, I think that Nicolette and Farina have so much more that connects the two. And granted, they are super important characters in Fontaine, but, like, what I'm trying to say is that Hoyoverse, like, I think they ship them. I don't think they want to confirm anything because they never confirm anything, but I do think that there was at least one writer that was like, yeah, I think they'd be, like, cute together. Okay, I ranted about a dumb anime ship for the past, like, 20 minutes. We need to cut the stream. This is, okay, here's my cool little line art, guys. We're gonna be coloring, on Thursday. Yeah, we're gonna be coloring on Thursday. My cute little, like, young Odie and Athena art, I'm just gonna do that one on the side. That one is supposed to be a lot more of, like, a quick, cute little piece of art. This one I was thinking more of, like, a full-blown illustration. But yeah, on Thursday we're gonna go back. I'm probably gonna rant more about Genshin ships. Honestly, it's really fun. It's whatever y'all want. Yeah, let me, which one is it? Oh, let me get to my dumb little, where am I? There we go. Okay, then, that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, till Thursday. On Thursday we're going to be, coloring this dude, and I was gonna say coloring this little boy. What am I talking about? Coloring this guy, and yeah, see what's up. See what happens there. Charles says it's for the fans that ship themselves with everyone. I mean, I guess. And Cora says, "See you next stream, lol." All right then. All right. I've been talking to him for too long. See you later, guys. Bye.